G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. In this episode I wanted to cover two companies, Mesoblast and Hydrix. These two companies are both involved in the ASX Biotech sector. I wanted to do a deep dive on both of these companies, have a look at their core business fundamentals and then also check out the health of their balance sheet. Don't forget to give the video a like, and if you're enjoying the content from the channel, please hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more great content. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. Before making any financial investments, make sure to consult a licensed financial advisor. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. These two companies have both had some pretty serious pullbacks on their share price, so we'll go right into the details about why that might have happened. Okay, let's talk about Mesoblast. Mesoblast is a biomedical company that produces cellular medicines to help treat serious and life-threatening diseases. So one of their major treatments, which has been subject to a lot of news and review lately, are treatments which are underpinned by mesenchymal stem cells. Mesenchymal stem cells, also known as MSCs, can develop into a variety of different cells which are used throughout the body. How these stem cells transform into other cells within the body remains largely unknown. However, we do know that these stem cells have proven effectiveness in treating diseases such as leukemia. This works by doing a bone marrow transplant between a healthy donor and a sick patient. These bone marrow transplants work by taking healthy bone marrow from a donor and transplanting those into a patient who might have a blood disease such as leukemia. The donated bone marrow helps to revive and regenerate the bone marrow in the affected patient. So now that we know that information, let's have a look at how Mesoblast uses MSCs in their treatment. The treatment, which is very close to approval for Mesoblast, is called Ryoncil. This means that it is being tested in a wide range of patients to prove its effectiveness. At the end of all the clinical trials, a drug must then go to the FDA for approval. However, we know from the most recent announcement the FDA has not yet approved the use of the Ryoncil treatment. So let's talk a little bit more about the treatment and what it does so we can better understand whether or not this may get approved in the future. So we talked earlier about a bone marrow transplant. This can be a very effective treatment. However, in some cases, the donor bone marrow can have an adverse reaction to the patient. This results in something called graft versus host disease, or GVHD. This is where the donor blood marrow cells attack the cells of the host patient. This is a potentially very serious condition, and it's something that Mesoblast is trying to cure using their Ryoncil treatment. So this treatment has been in clinical trials and they've been testing this on hundreds, possibly even thousands of patients. So why has the FDA decided not to approve the treatment? We can see in Mesoblast's investor presentation, the clinical trial that has advanced the most is the pediatric trial. This is where the treatment has been used to try and cure sick kids. So what has the FDA said and why didn't they approve the drug? The main reason the FDA has withheld approval is because there was no control study demonstrated by Mesoblast. No control study was done because doctors are reluctant to do placebo treatment on children. This is the issue that faces Mesoblast. How do you conduct a control study on sick children? This becomes a massive ethical issue. The control study requires the administration of a non-effective treatment to a patient. This is critically important to remove the placebo effect that might be given to someone who knows that they're taking a treatment. This is critically important because it removes the risk of the placebo effect. So in this scenario, it means that in a control group of patients, there'll be some kids getting what could be an effective treatment and some being administered something that is definitely not going to improve their situation. Obviously, doctors don't want to give kids something they know will not work. However, this is what the FDA is asking for. They need to show that the drug works against a sample of results which have no treatment whatsoever. This is the only way you can compare the two and prove that the drug is effective. No one in their right mind would want to provide ineffective treatment to someone who was critically ill. You'd always want to give them the best chance of surviving and therefore administer the stem cells. So how is Mesoblast going to get around this issue? Well, this is something we're yet to see. However, we do know there are some major positives from the trials so far. So far, the treatment has been safe. It's been well tolerated by patients and there's been no proven toxicity. We've also seen positive effects on the immune response in patients, with anti-inflammatory action being shown by the treatment. These positive outcomes have revealed why the treatment has made it so far down the clinical trial path. However, gaining the FDA approval is the last step required by Mesoblast in order to commercialize the treatment. Without this approval, the clinical trials are for nothing. So now we understand Mesoblast's key product and how close it is to being commercialized. Mesoblast will certainly be hoping they can convince the FDA to approve the drug without having to do a control study. This will probably be on the basis of the ethical issues we talked about earlier in the video. Onto their balance sheet. At the moment, there is nothing special here for Mesoblast. They've shown fluctuating revenue over the past 5 years with no clear, consistent growth. This is not surprising as the bulk of their treatments have not yet had FDA approval. It is only once they have this approval that they'll be able to scale and commercialize their treatments and bring in some seriously consistent growing revenue. Similar to their revenue, their income after tax is not very flash. Neither is their EPS, which is also negative. However, one positive element of their balance sheet are their debt levels. Their debt levels are only around 10% of equity. This is a very healthy level for debt and is certainly one positive takeaway from their balance sheet. Overall, their balance sheet is not very desirable, but we understand they're waiting for a breakthrough product to help generate some additional revenue. I think if Mesoblast can attain the FDA approval on the Ryan-Sill treatment, there's definitely some room for some explosive growth in the next few months. I'm not sure how long, if ever, it will take them to convince the FDA to approve the treatment. Certainly, if they can get it approved, it is more than likely to pave the way for all of the other treatments that they have in the pipeline. This could really be the start of something big for Mesoblast, but personally, I'm waiting to see that approval before making an investment. Okay, moving on to the next company, let's talk about Hydrix. Hydrix is a specialist product development and engineering company in the biotech segment. They also do operate in other industry segments, however, biotech is definitely their main focus. Their main business strategy is to help bring new medical technologies to the market. They are not necessarily developing these technologies from scratch, but rather helping innovators commercialize their product and get it out into the market. This allows them to have a portfolio of multiple different products that they're trying to achieve commercialization with. However, they do have a segment of the business which is dedicated to designing and creating new products. Their three key business segments are medical, services, and venture. The medical segment focuses on what I touched on earlier, which is helping companies bring their medical technologies to the market and achieve commercialization. The services sector is involved in designing and engineering new products. And then finally, their venture segment is all about investing in some of the new technologies that they're helping to bring to market in order to capitalize on all the work that they're putting in order to try and make a product a success. So one of the products they've been helping develop and bring to the market is the AngelMed Guardian. This is a medical implant device that helps detect early signs of heart issues in those people with ongoing heart complications. There are currently no other products on the market that serve this purpose, so in this respect, they will definitely have a monopoly on the market. The first successful implants of this product have recently been completed in Singapore, and this marks a major milestone for the company. These first successful implants, along with regulatory approvals of the product, mean they will soon be able to scale up and really commercialize this device. Because Hydrix was involved in the development of this AngelMed device, they will have access to the revenues generated as this device becomes available to the global market. We can see from other ASX listed biotech companies such as Cochlear that implants like this can be wildly successful if implemented well. I'm sure Hydrix will be hoping that this happens with the AngelMed device. But the good news is, even if it doesn't, they are working on bringing other products to market. We can see that they flagged potentially millions of dollars of revenue, even if only 1% of the target market is met for the AngelMed device. This is really promising, and they're expecting to see profitability come in financial year 2021. This is certainly a space to watch. It'll be really interesting to see how many of these units sell. This is also where the venture segment of their business will really come into play in the future. The venture segment invests in promising product developments early on at a low price to enable them to capture future profits from a potentially successful medical development. So what can we see from the current state of Hydrix balance sheet? Well, at the moment, they're not profitable. Their income after tax is still negative, but it is steadily improving. This is similar to their earnings per share growth. It's still negative, but there is continual improvement towards getting it positive. Shareholders' equity has been up and down. However, over the past few recent years, it has been improving. In terms of the total shares outstanding, this metric continues to increase quite substantially year on year. This is not surprising for a growing company. However, it does dilute the share price. It's something that should definitely be monitored if you are considering an investment into Hydrix. My conclusion on this company at the moment is to wait and watch. There's a couple of things I'd like to see before making an investment in this company. They would be positive earnings, debt stabilization, and a bit of a winding back of the capital raising activities. However, future capital raising exercises will probably be necessary for this company as their debt levels are already quite high. In light of all of this, the company is expecting to turn profitable in financial year 2021. So this might see a shift in their share price, which in turn will mean they will need to issue less shares in capital raising exercises. Let's hope they do have some real success with the Angel Med device and we see their share price lift in the near future. But for now, I'm waiting to see their next lot of results. They've got an annual report due out at the end of this month. If they can successfully scale the Angel Med device, this company really could take off. It's one to monitor closely and it's definitely one I've got on my watch list. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time guys, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.